Hello and welcome to My Finance Teacher. Today is 27th of April 2018 and I hope everybody is having a nice day. Remember, today is Friday and you gotta have a nice weekend, okay? Promise that to me. Alright, looking at Bitcoin at the moment, the previous arrow over here that I put on the chart, on the video, well, it didn't perform well. The prediction, the forecast didn't perform well. It's the arrow's fault, it's not my fault. Joking here, but basically, even though the prediction of this specific arrow didn't really do well, I think the general premise might still turn out to be true. And what is the general premise? The general premise of my last couple of videos about these two downward pointing arrows is that somewhere around here, anywhere between, let's have a look at the chart, anywhere between 8100 to 9800 is a cluster of moving averages. There is a 50-day, 100-day, and a 200-day moving average, all within this price range. And somewhere around here is this green down trend line that we've been experiencing all the way since mid-December. So all of them together form sort of a cluster of resistances, and this sort of price range anywhere between 8100 to 9800 still might prove to be a relatively important, relatively significant resistance zone. What are we observing on the price chart over the last couple of days? Well, Bitcoin has continued to move upwards after our previous video, and what we see here, it's bumping its head on the 200-day moving average and pulling back down from that 200-day moving average. There's a 100-day moving average over here. It might oscillate somewhere between these two moving averages. And moving forward anywhere after that, I think Bitcoin is going to come down noticeably. One other thing I see on the chart is this, where is it? Just give me a second. I see some sort of a parallel channel like this, and either if Bitcoin comes down over the next couple of days, or even if it oscillates between the 100-day and 200-day moving averages, either way it's going to fall out from the lower range of this upward channel. So those are two out of the three possibilities that point out to the likelihood that Bitcoin is going to come down over the next several weeks. One other possibility is for Bitcoin to keep pushing upwards from here, but I don't really see that happening. If Bitcoin wants to stay within this upward channel, it has to slice through this 200-day moving average only after 1, 2, 3, 4 days pullback. But I think this 200-day moving average is going to prove to be a slightly stronger resistance zone, which will only be broken after more than 4 days pullback. How long the actual pullback is going to take, we're going to talk about that when we have to cross that bridge. But over the next few weeks, what I think is going to happen to Bitcoin is we probably are going to cool down for a while. And another reason for that is a couple of days ago, we saw the 14-day RSI just touch this overbought level. Yes, we didn't go into the overbought levels. We didn't go anywhere deep into the overbought levels. But I don't think we are in a bull market at the moment. Given that Bitcoin can be argued to be in the bear market, price action doesn't need to bring RSI into the overbought territory before price starts turning around and going back down. During the bull market, yes, we had to see RSI deeply overbought before price had to come down for a while. Now, since January, we don't need to observe anything like that, and RSI has already touched the overbought levels a few days ago, 3 days ago. So based on all of that, what I think is going to happen, well, Bitcoin might try to bump its head again on the 200-day moving average, but that I'm pretty sure is going to prove to be a somewhat strong resistance zone, and we're going to pull back down into somewhere the first half of May. How far are we going to pull back? Well, this 50-day moving average might be somewhere at about 7,700. This bear market trend line might be somewhere close to 7,500 by first half of May. So I think over the next several weeks Bitcoin is going to pull back down into the price range anywhere between 75 to 7,700. What's going to happen after that? Well, I think Bitcoin is going to have a second attempt at that resistance zone. The reason I think that is because these Bitcoin cycles generally last for a couple of weeks, and we've talked about them in the previous videos, in several of my previous videos. If you go back for more than a year, you can see these sort of couple of months Bitcoin cycles. Given that this cycle started somewhere in the early April, there will still be time for Bitcoin to retest resistance zones, but I don't think it's going to break it because it will be too late in the Bitcoin cycle, and it will enter the declining phase of the cycle. With a new cycle, yes, maybe this 200-day moving average will be sliced through. We'll have to talk about that later. For now, I'm going to place this arrow on the chart, and this arrow, I'm going to change the color of this arrow, making it sort of less likely because it's a little bit further away from where we are at the moment. This is my Bitcoin price analysis. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, comment. I am quite interested in your opinions, and thanks for your attention. Have a good weekend.